Hey guys, Cybo here, and you may be wondering what this wonderful piece of hot garbage is I have on my desk right here. This is the Power Gig controller. So back in the Xbox 360, and I think maybe PS3, there was this game called Power Gig, and their whole gimmick was that instead of using a Guitar Hero controller, you use what is effectively a real guitar. The game sucked. A lot. So now there's a bunch of these kicking around because, well, nobody played the game. So I managed to get my hands on one of these for, I believe, $21 I got for it. I've seen someone actually get it for like $10-ish. It was like €7. So if you dig, you can find these Power Gig guitars for like nothing. It's interesting because this the strap I added myself, but it's still a 360 controller. It has a thumbstick on it down here, or right here. This is the start and select buttons, and they also double as your volume and tone knob. Got all your other buttons up here, directional pad, whatnot. But you also have a legitimate bridge, this weird pickup that strangely doesn't have much noise, so I think this pickup's gonna stay on this guitar. Proper tuners, and these hot garbage strings. Oh man, these strings are bad, but I intend to fix that. In case you're wondering just how bad these strings are, let me give you a lovely little demonstration of just how bad these strings are. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be disappointed at a level unknown of by mankind. Prepare to have your expectations infinitely lowered. Brace your loins, this is gonna be ugly. So as you could probably tell from the absolutely dulcet tones of the Power Gig guitar, these strings are ass. And this needs a little bit of work. When I got this, I was expecting it to be at least functional with the frets that it has, and I was, going to convert it to fretless. These frets are horrible. They are not crowned. They are just flat metal bars on top of some raised plastic. And the strings that are on this are actually bending as I push down on them past the fret mark. I'm just sitting here like, oh my god, it sounds like a toy. Granted, a lot of people that have these have been saying that when you replace the strings, it sounds a hell of a lot better. But I want a fretless guitar. So I'm ripping these frets out. That is my plan, and that is what I'm going to roll with. Got my fret removal tool, although I have a sneaking suspicion because the whole construction on this is solid plastic, I might be able to literally take the whole fretboard out and just pop them out from the back. I will sort out what I'm going to use as a filler for the gaps when I get there. I might have to grind the nut down a little bit. While the nut appears to be just part of the fretboard, so maybe I can't just grind it down, I'll worry about the string height later. Let's get ready to do something stupid. Let's take a $20 guitar and let's be stupid. So it's for the record, with me going fretless, I'm also going to use flat wounds for my strings on this. These are Diodario XL chromes. They're flat wound. They should do the trick. It's going to be a very warm guitar when I'm done with these, which will be a little different than what I'm used to. My original plan was to make this bright, but you can't do that with flat wounds because flat wounds are smooth and sexy, and I have them on my bass over there. It's not my first time doing fretless, so it's not unfamiliar territory for me. Just the only risk with this is that because this is a plastic neck, I can't scratch this up because then the strings will catch on it. So I've got to be a little more careful than usual. That's why I'm hoping if I can pop them out from the back, I'll have a little less trouble. First things first, let's get these strings off because they're just ugly things. Hey, Hey, you can see my head now. I don't know what these strings are made out of, but it's very, very cheap. They feel like toy strings, which I believe the bundle for this game was 140 bucks or something like that. It was not a cheap bundle. It feels almost plastic. It's definitely metal, but it just baffles me because when they made this game, when they made this controller, these strings are actually specially made for the game. They literally have string packs of Power Gig strings. Oh my god. Ugh. Okay, story time. When I got this in the mail, I cut the plastic, and all I could smell was doobies. I just got a nice whiff of that when I pulled that string out the back of that bridge. Yeah, I already wiped this down. I did a whole lot of cleaning work on it. I might wipe this fretboard down when I get these strings off, just to kill the rest of that smell. I mean, it's more of a dookie than a doobie, to be fair, how this sounds at the moment. But we're gonna change that. Sanity is grossly overrated, and it's just detrimental to the creative process. Why would I want any of that in my life? That's not my lifestyle. I prefer to take a $20 plastic guitar and put expensive strings on it and make a conversion to it, ripping all the frets out, and boy, I'm just full of bad ideas. But you know what? It's fun. I was expecting it to be just a fancy looking single coil, but I don't even know what it is. It looks like a soap bar pickup that I have like on my Warwick bass. You don't see those on guitars, but at the same time, it's got these weird little bits of the bottom sticking up, which I don't know if that's actually part of the pickup itself or if that's more of a controller type of deal. I mean, when I open the back of this up, I'll be able to find out by just looking at the circuitry. If there's literally any circuitry tied to the back of that pickup that isn't guitar stuff, then I know. It's a very unusual pickup. That's why I'm not, with how little noise it makes, I'm kind of baffled as to just, what it is. How does this work? There's a lot of weird recesses on this guitar, which I'm assuming are more screw locations. Because on the back, there's, you can see them. All those little weird circles are all caps for screws. Which I'm probably just going to remove the caps altogether and just ditch them. I want to be able to easily get in and out of this thing. Because I want to, at some point, probably not in this video, I might do it at a later date. The neck on this is really heavy compared to the body. Because I believe the body is just about hollow aside from some circuitry. I want to put some weighting on this side of it. So when I'm holding it, just hanging it around my neck, it stays upright instead of the neck tipping down. It's not like I'm trying to save these strings. These things, I haven't even tried to play anything on them. They're so bad. If I want toy strings, I'll buy a toy, because at least with that, I can circuit bend it and not feel guilty. So I'm going to step out of frame for a second. I'm going to throw these nasty, beat up, disgusting, crappy, doobie-smelling strings. I'll find more insults soon enough, don't worry. I'm going to throw these out, and we're going to figure out how I can get these frets out. I've returned. My hands smell like pot from getting rid of those strings. Oh, yeah, I'm wiping that down. Like, my fingers are, like, sticky from that, so the residue is coating this. But this is the instrument. Interesting little feature. That doesn't smell like pot. Hey, come on! Find another spot to run around. Jesus. I have cats. So interesting little thing on this. I think this is more directed at the game, but there is a mute right here that goes up. It's rubber, catches all the strings. I'm a little tempted to take this and grind back the rubber a bit so it only slightly touches the string. So instead of a full mute, it can actually be a tonal option for this. Still kind of a spitball idea, but yeah, we'll see. Now we can try to figure out how I'm going to get these frets out. I'm going to start with the highest fret, out of fear of scratching the plastic. These might be recessed. Yep. Alright. This is going to get fun now, because we are exiting the realm of fret removal tools and entering the realm of electronics. We're going to pop some of these things off, and we're going to find out what's on the inside. This in the back, if I scratch it, I really don't care. Oh shit, they really didn't want you to get in here, did they? I'm gonna try a tiny flathead. See if I can jam that all the way in there. Yeah. These little atrocious caps are what's keeping me from getting to where I need to be. Oh boy, it looks like I get to remove all of these if I have any intention of splitting this in two. I think this is an Allen bit. Oh no, it's a Torx? Yeah, it's a T9 Torx bit. It's the biggest bit that I've got. Good thing I don't have to worry about a truss rod on this. Alright, so this would probably be even more complicated given how much trouble it's already given me. Yep, I gotta take every one of these out if I have any intention of getting ahead on this. Oh, nobody said it'd be easy. You know, maybe I'm just gonna revisit that fret removal tool. It is literally a fret with a plastic housing on it. No, they busted some of this open. Although I scratched it, which I want to avoid. But you can kind of see what I mean. The metal is still down in there, but the plastic was just a cap on it. So now that I get an idea of how this is constructed, I'd like to just remove this. But I don't know what else is holding it in place. Yeah, these have got to be attached to the neck because they're a bit more rigid than the other caps I've been dealing with. A lot easier to pop out. Let's try popping these out, and we'll see if we have any luck getting this neck off. Oh, you son of a bitch. There's a strip screw in there. Come to the conclusion that I am already hating this project. Well, so I got 3 strip screws because they're really cheap. And I need to get them out. At least they're either cheap or they're absolutely slathered in thread locker. I'm going to go back to removing the first one the fun way. The nut is an actual nut. That's nice. It's held in my nubs, too. I almost want to just take my Dremel tool and grind it down. Because my faith in this thing is getting, well, I don't have any. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a new approach. We're going to take the Dremel. We're going to grind these frets down, which also gives me the added advantage of having a nice level neck. Or, well, the fretboard will be level. Because clearly I'm not going to be able to get in here from the back. It's just not... I think these screws have been thread locked, and unfortunately the only way I know how to get rid of thread locker is to use heat, which will probably melt the plastic. Normally when I'm doing stuff with like a butterfly knife, I'll put it in boiling water, and that'll soften the Loctite up and I just pull the screw out. But this is not one of those cases. At least if I'm ruining a fret, I'm ruining one I am never going to use. I never, ever touch that very top fret. That doesn't bother me. Worst case, if I ruin this, I'll buy another one. $21. Woo. Okay. So now that I've stripped the living hell out of these screws on the back, we're going to take a new approach where I'm going to take my Dremel tool and I'm going to grind down the frets as safely as I can without ruining the fretboard. Because, wow, these frets suck. And they're textured frets, which does nobody any favors. But maybe this is the approach I've needed this whole time. Nothing good can happen if I'm pulling one of these out. Well, I'm going to preface what I'm about to do with don't do this at home. Leave it to a licensed idiot like myself. Yeah, this is very, very ill-advised. This is a very destructive way of me working with this. Okay, let's be stupid. Good thing is, my neighbors think that I'm vacuuming when I use this. This is ruining the fretboard. I don't know if I have an approach for this, to be totally fair. To rip out these Garbo frets without just flat out cutting this thing out, which, believe me, the temptation is definitely there to just cut this thing out or to cut a hole in the back and just expose the internals. No, I might as well level this out for now. Yeah, plastic is a bitch to work with. Gonna find a way into this, one way or another. Still haven't explored the straight up brute force strategy though. Always explore your brute force option where you just leverage the fucker out. Oh wow, these aren't even full frets. They're just little chips of, little bars of plastic with a little bar of metal on the inside. It's kind of sad to think this process is so much easier on an actual guitar than it is on what is effectively a toy. And embracing the destructive nature of what I'm doing. There's also a distinct possibility there's no coming back from this. Oh, there we go. There's the clean break I needed. Okay, I see why this was such a pain. It looks like there's a circuit board that runs underneath this. And that's what's causing all the trouble I'm having with this. I'm just gonna have to deal with the chewed up fretboard. I think I can just buff that out later. I figure I've got some filler I can use for all the stuff I've broken on my quest for tone. I guess though, at the end of the day, as destructive as this is the fun of these kinds of projects, is even though it's going to be smashed to absolute hell, damage gives these things character, in my opinion. You can tell how the previous person handled and played the instrument. And when you turn around, you fix it up, get it back into good functional shape, you kind of build a bit of a connection to your instrument. Well, I've got a bass that I've been working on for a little while now. I've been calling it the jank bass. When I got it, the pickups were rusted, the bridge was rusted, the strings were garbage, the frets were beat up. But I've been going through the process of cleaning it up, and so far I've got the bridge, I got all the rust off. It's a little pitted, but it actually looks really cool. Tuners are all rust cleared out and fixed up. I buffed up all the frets, I replaced the strings with a nicer set. And I have to admit, the guitar is starting to grow on me. It's a parts guitar when I got it, or parts bass when I got it. I believe it's all Fender parts. Squire neck, Squire bridge, and I think a Fender P-bass body? It's kind of hard to tell. It's the only indicator that's a Fender is a blurred chunk of ink on the inside of the neck when I took it off to take a look. Normally there'd be a serial there, but whoever had it made a real effort to clear off any indicator of what it came from. But I can tell they definitely did something stupid to a Squire. The tuners and the bridge match up. The fading from the sun on the body tells me what fret guard they had, or not fret guard, what pick guard they had. It looks like a P-bass. On the subject of all the damage and stuff, though, there is actually an Ibanez I'm looking at, the 7-string, at the guitar shop near me. They're selling it for 200 bucks. So the only reason it's so cheap is because the previous owner took a pen to it, and they customized it in a very cringy way. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can just buff that out, just a little bit of sandpaper refinish, or I can keep it because those are the vibes that the previous owner was going after. So I don't know. If this was wood, I would have destroyed it so long ago doing it this way. Because I'm grabbing the fret and I'm twisting it to snap it off because the parts are that cheap. On a wooden guitar, this gets underneath the fret and you just loosen it in 3 or 4 spots and you can just pull it out without damaging the wood. This is just... ugh. So to give an idea of how destructive what I'm doing to this guitar is, that's what these look like. Very, very chewed up. After I'm done with this, I'm going to fill those gaps. Well, I'm going to level it out, and I'm going to fill those gaps. And none of that's going to be an issue. I hope. None of the marks I've left in the plastic are particularly deep, not deep enough for me to be concerned about. And flat wounds tend to be pretty durable from experience, at least on the base end. So as long as there are no sharp edges when I'm done, it should be fine. Alright, back from a small break and back to ripping out some frets. We are 6 frets deep. Kill me. But I needed that. A little bit of food, a little bit of beer to help me concentrate. This is Northway Brewing Company Sunrise Session IPA. Not sponsored. It's just damn good beer. It's got a hazy IPA. This is totally correct usage of a fret removal tool. What was I thinking doing a fretless conversion of this? What was going through this noggin saying, hey, you want to spend like 6 hours ripping little pieces of metal out of a guitar? There we go. Time to do some quick theory crafting because my hands hurt. Now this might ruin the whole guitar, but I think I've already crossed that bridge. So let's see what happens. Power gig, about to receive power tools. So we're going to try a cutting head on this. With any luck, this will let me clear some of these frets off a little bit faster. Big maybe though. Yeah, I think that did quite literally nothing to improve this situation. Well, kids, I found a better solution. I wish I did this from the start, but I figure if I can salvage this up to the first octave, I should be fine. That fret removal gets considerably cleaner once you get to those last two I worked on. So all the ones further up the neck, I'll use some kind of filler or something. I'll find a solution. I might just take my soldering iron and just fucking splash solder in it or something. I don't know. But we've got a more cohesive game plan than when we started. I can make this work. Leaf, I would prefer, as cute as you are, that you not hang out in here while I'm doing this. Here, go to the other room, buddy. I got a big fluffy cat. He won't let me work. Oh, Jesus Christ, cat! No. What are you doing, cat? No. Get out of here. Love you to death, but you're being a pain in the ass. Alright, come on. Suddenly cat. Alright, back to work. No. No. Down. Off my keyboard. Off the keyboard. No. My cat has decided that the keyboard is his fast track up here. He's knocking all of my things over. So, no. You are really hell-bent at getting up here. Go, go, go. No. You are literally standing on X, Cat. That is where I keep all of my Bella songs. I just realized I've been firing this crap all over the place, not just on the table. I didn't quite think that one through. Oh, we're almost done. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frets to go. Cat, I can see exactly what you're doing. Cat, do you mind not knocking all of my things over? You are 20 pounds of big chonker. Okay. So there's a point on this. Well, I let that Dremel cool down. There is a very clear point working on this where you can tell where I kind of figured out what I'm doing. I wonder where it could be. Is it maybe up here where it's not all chewed up compared to down here where it's rough and I need to do a lot of repair work? Yeah, I got a few spots to fix, but it's clean to the octave, which is the important part. Everything after the octave I'm not as worried about. I can make that work. There is dust everywhere, might I add. Because I foolishly didn't cover up anything I was working on. So, yeah. It's probably my beer, too. I just wish that I opted to do this from the start, because then I wouldn't need to fill any of these gaps. I actually could just use the plastic and metal that came with it. But you live, you learn. If I decide to do another one of these, I know what to do. And after this, it's just a matter of replacing the artwork on it, because good God, these are some tacky-ass stickers. Because I'm starting to hate this process. I just want to play. Oh, God, that sucked. Oh, that whole process sucked. Okay. Alright. Oh my God. It's everywhere. It just permeates everything. Final result is looking pretty clean. Granted, yeah, you get up near the octave mark, it gets ugly, but I can fix those later. I really, really wish I came up with that solution way back when I started, instead of going in there like wrenching everything out of there. But not too bad. All right, so next phase, I gotta sand some of this down. I gotta level out these frets down here. I figure I should do this part by hand for the best result. But the good thing is the heat is melting some of this plastic and it's kind of fusing together. Alright. There's a nice, even sanding. Takes a lot of material off, but it'll be level. Yeah, this is totally salvageable. I'm not worried about it anymore, actually. But as long as doing this is smooth, we're doing good. Because that tells me that if it's not going to hurt my hands at all, if it feels smooth this way, it's going to feel smooth on the strings. And I really don't care about this lock. I want to remove it, but I don't know how. Or brilliance just hit me. I take the rubber off of this. There's hard plastic on either side. I can make that a buzz bridge. I can make this sound like a sitar if I want to. I could probably do this right now by hand. That was easy. Okay. I have a buzz bridge. That was easy. That is instant buzz bridge. Oh, and I can pull it out actually if I really wanted to. Curiosity has me. How deep does this go? Because if this gives me access to the inside, and I could have dodged all the mess I just did, I'm going to go crazy. Oh, okay. So, neat thing I could do with this, I can determine the level that this goes up with these screws, which is really cool because that gives me options for buzz. I could do something fun, like put like a metal panel in here or whatever the hell I feel like. There's some serious options for what I can do there. But so far, I have salvaged what might have been a disaster and made it work. So to fill these gaps, I've got a few options. I was thinking of using steel epoxy to start with to keep it more in line with what the frets are, but a part of me wants to use solder, which is probably ill-advised. No, I won't use solder because the plastic will melt. I think I'm just going to keep it simple, stupid, and just put a little bit of epoxy in there, or super glue in there. This is just some Gorilla Glue adhesive gel, nothing fancy. I figure this should make an effective sealant. Not enough where I'm too worried about fumes at the moment, although I'm definitely going to put this elsewhere in the room near a window. See, I like this part because it's going very easy. And I like easy, because easy is easy. At this point, I'm just going to pencil it into all of my frets, just to fill in the gap between the fret and the fretboard, just because the way these frets were made is ugly. Yeah, some fumes. My eyes are burning. Gotta get this part done quick, get it out of here. Yeah, most of this is just melted together up here. This first fret is came out really good. I'm just gonna let this sit for a while. I'll let the glue dry, cure, all that. You can see roughly what I did. Basically slathered every single one of them with super glue that'll fill all the gaps. And once that's ready to go, we can start putting this back together. All I have to do is sand down the excess, and I can restring it. All I have to do then is put the nut back on. Okay, it's been a little while. The glue is finally dry enough for me to work on this again. So we're gonna get sanding. I think I'm gonna jump all over the idea of doing a buzz bridge on this. I will figure out materials soon enough, but I'm definitely on board with the buzz bridge. So this should be an easy part. Got my nut still over here. I might have to grind this down. I don't need to use these guide holes that are on the bottom, the nubs I have on the bottom of this. They're nice, don't get me wrong, they're secure as hell, but glue does just as good of a job. I'm gonna get the sanding of this glue down, which I gotta be a little bit gentle with, or else I rip off chunks of it. Oh, this is why I burn through so much compressed air as projects like this. I'm gonna use 100 grit. It's taken a while and I don't have a lot of time to work with, and it's a considerable amount of material I have to make go away. And then I'll go back over it with the, what's this, 120. Still amazes me where, despite how big of a mistake I made with these first few frets, with a little bit of improvisation, you can fix just about anything. The neck is not broken, therefore it can be fixed. I think this is just about done. I don't think it's going to get much better than this. Still got a little more sanding to do. I need to go up the grits a little bit to clear this up. But that's Fretless. That is just about ready. It's at this point, it's just another pass or two with the 100 grit. Gonna go up to the 120. Then I'll probably jump up to a 300. And I'll see where it looks from there. To be honest, I kind of like it worn a little bit, because I know the strings are going to dig into it a bit over time. They're going to leave a mark. So I don't know if I want to go totally clean. There's still a noticeable bump in the glue on the very last fret, but I am literally never going to use that fret. At least I'm never going to go past it. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to be playing slap on this because it's a 6-string lead. I'd rather do that with a 7 or 8 string, where I get the low tones I need for the sound I'd be chasing with that. Alright, so we're going to go work our way back up the grits. It's smooth, it's good, it feels good. It actually feels like wood right now, which is partly why I don't want to sand it down, but I should. But I want to see if I can get this to be a little shinier, clear it up a little bit. This is all about finish at this point. Just making it look good. I'm going to make the jump to 220. It's the only part that sucks about sandpaper is you can't really get away with making a big jump. You got to be patient. Like all things in life, a little bit of patience goes a long way. Like how I've spent the last 6 hours working on this thing. I'm actually curious, when I get done with this, just how much material I've taken off, because I've filled all these pearls on every pass I've made. I'm gonna get a wet towel real quick so I can clear that out. Yeah, I think one more grit is all this needs. I'm gonna jump up to a 400 on this pass. At this point, you don't really feel the resistance anymore. It just feels smooth, but you can see the results in front of you. I think that's that. I think that's the level of finish I'm gonna stick with for now. I'm gonna get this ready for to be strung up. I have half an hour left, 20 minutes left. Not too shabby of a spot. It's always fun when you get to this point. When you see all of your hard work coming together to something that's actually usable. The nice thing is, because I've wiped this down so many times, the pot smell is completely gone. Frets are clear, it's been sanded, the finish looks good, still a little damp from me wiping it down, but got this part where I want it to be. I've never actually used flat wound guitar strings before. I've used them on bass, the aforementioned Jackson. Oh, right! I might need to put this nut back on. That may help. You know what? The string height's fine. I don't think I need to do anything silly to it. Now the gripe is now it's just sitting directly on the pickup. But I can fix that. Yeah, this point is just the final touches, bridge adjustment. I can do intonation later if I need to. I'm not a fan of these tuning knobs though. This is a personal preference. I like it when they're all on one side. It just makes it so much easier to not accidentally detune the whole instrument. I love how smooth the flat wound is. It's a different sensation than I usually get, especially outside of bass. It's very smooth, very responsive to slides. The last string. I'll worry about intonation tomorrow. But yeah, we have a new fretless guitar. Let's get this tuned up. See what we're in for. Oh, that new string effect. Gotta love new strings where you have to constantly keep pitching them up. Ooh, that intonation though. So this is fun. It's more fun than I expected. Alright, let's plug this in. I need to know what this sounds like. Alright, so that is the power gig conversion that I made, fretless and other things. Still got some more work I want to do with this thing. I kind of want to build a buzz bridge for it at some point with the pop-up mute that's with it. And I'm thinking I should probably think about either replacing the nut, tweaking the fretboard with like a layer of material over top of it, or maybe I just need to find shorter strings or something. Because the intonation is really funky. You might have noticed that it had a lot of microtones going on when I was playing earlier. It still sounds pleasant, which has me wondering if maybe it's falling in line with like the 26 tone system or something. Or 24, 26. Haven't looked into it yet, but there is a intonation system that uses a lot of microtones that's actually still fairly pleasant to the ear. It's playable. It's fun. Slap some distortion on it, it sounds fine. Alright, so with that said, this is Cybel signing off. I'm sure I'll find something else weird to work on at some point. I'll be sure to put it on this channel. See ya.